You know that sound? That perfect, crispy, salty crunch of a potato chip. We eat them pretty much everywhere, with everything. For a lot of us, they're just the ultimate snack. So how did we get this perfect snack? You might think it was some brilliant inventor in a lab, right? Nope, not even close. The real story is, well, it's a bit of a drama, really. It involves a super frustrated chef, a really picky customer, and a little moment of delicious, salty revenge. Okay, so to really get where the chip came from, we've got to jump in the time machine. We need to go back to a world where fried potatoes looked, well, a lot different. To get the chip's origin story, you have to know what people expected back then. In the late 1700s, if you ordered fried potatoes, you were getting what we now call French fries. You know, thick cut, all soft and fluffy inside and crispy on the outside. That was the gold standard. And that very specific expectation is exactly where our story gets started. See, the potato chip wasn't a planned stroke of genius. It was a complete accident, a culinary spark that flew because one chef got really, really fed up with a customer who just couldn't be pleased. So, this brings us right to the heart of it all, the moment a chef's petty annoyance accidentally created one of the world's most beloved snacks. Okay, picture it. The year is 1853. We're in a restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York, and our main character, a chef named George Crumb, is just trying to get through his dinner shift. So here's how it all went down. A customer sends his fries back to the kitchen. Complaint? They're too thick. So Crumb, being a pro, makes a new, thinner batch. But the customer sends them back. Again. Okay, at this point, Crumb has had it. He decides he's going to teach this guy a lesson. He slices the potatoes so thin they're like paper, fries them until they're brittle as glass, and then just dumps a ton of salt all over them. Basically, he made them impossible to eat with a fork. But his plan for revenge completely backfired. The customer took one bite and absolutely loved them. And just like that, the Saratoga chip was born. Seriously, it wasn't an invention in the normal sense. It was a sarcastic comeback that you could eat. But how in the world did this happy accident from one little restaurant kitchen turn into a multi-billion-dollar industry that spans the entire globe? Well, that part of the journey took a few more strokes of genius. You can really trace the chip's path to world domination through three key moments. First, you've got the accidental invention in 1853. Then, in the 1920s, a huge problem gets solved, how to keep them fresh. And finally, the 1950s, when a flavor revolution changed everything. For a long time, chips are just a local thing. Sold in paper bags, that meant they went stale, like super fast. But then, in the 1920s, a businesswoman named Laura Scudder has this amazing idea. What if we put them in a sealed wax paper bag? This simple little change was a complete game changer. All of a sudden, chips stayed fresh for weeks, and you could ship them all over the country. The next huge leap came all the way from Ireland, a guy named Joe Spud Murphy. Great name, right? He created a way to add seasoning directly to the chips. His company, Tato, launched the world's very first flavored chips, cheese and onion. And the rest, as they say, is delicious history. And that pretty much brings us to today, from one chef's temper tantrum to an entire universe of crunchy snacks. The scale of it all today is it's staggering. We're not talking about millions of bags eaten every year. We're talking billions, with a B. Billions of bags of potato chips are eaten all around the world every single year. It's almost impossible to even wrap your head around that number. And thanks to Joe Murphy's brilliant idea back in the 50s, we now have this incredible world of flavors. You've got your classic barbecue in the US, ketchup chips in Canada, seaweed in Japan, and of course the original game changer, cheese and onion, which is still a huge favorite in Ireland. The variety is it's endless. It's just amazing when you think about it. This massive global industry, all these crazy flavors, all that crunch, it all goes back to one single moment of frustration in a New York kitchen. So, next time you hear that satisfying crinkle when you open a bag of chips, just take a second. You're not just having a snack. You are literally enjoying the delicious, crispy result of a chef's salty revenge. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What happy accident is happening right now? In some kitchen or some lab somewhere, what little moment of frustration is going to create the next global snack craze? What's going to be the next potato chip?